Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, this is going to be really quick because I've got a meeting coming up here in a second, and I do kind of want to get to that and do real world stuff. But there's one thing I wanted to talk about. I was watching another YouTuber who was talking about things that he wanted to see in every baseball game, and he made some good points. But there's one point in particular that I thought was kind of interesting to bring up, and that is this point that we want to see a game in which every single player is carded or every single player has a computer creation. Now, that sounds like a good thing, especially if you're used to making replays where you have real life lineups and stuff like that. But I will tell you that anybody who's been through the real hard type of replay where you control every team and you try to figure everything out will know that it might not be all that it's cracked up to be. So let's go take a look over here. We're going to look on the screen right now. I chose the 1930 Phillies to look at. This is a bad team. I chose them in part because I've spent a lot of time looking at national pastime, and as I told you, there's a lot of stuff coming. So you definitely want to make sure that like Don Hurst and Tommy Thevenot and Chuck Klein actually was a pretty good hitter, and so on and so forth, that these guys have cards, right? But when you start looking at the players who were really marginal, like Jim Spots, I mean, are we going to like be completely out of it? We don't even have a picture for this guy, right? Are we going to be absolutely awful if we don't have it put down in card format that he had his 2 plate appearances? He struck out once. I don't know how he got on the other time. He scored a run somehow, right? I mean, like, I don't know, like, how important is it for us to know all of this, right? How important is it for us to have this particular guy in this game? He had 3 innings as a catcher. He played in 1 game. In fact, we can go over here to his game log and we can see probably exactly what it is that happened if there is a box score. Oh, and look, he actually appeared in 3 games. He had 2 plate appearances in 2 different games. April 23rd, he shows up, right? So if you're doing your replay, you got to pay really, really close attention to make sure that he's on the roster at the right time so that you don't overuse him and have this guy who hits 0 bat like every day, right? And well, let's see if we can figure out exactly what happened in this game. What's this guy's name? Jim Spots, right? And he ground out once at the bottom of the 9th of this game. I'm assuming that he was in at some time earlier in this game. Yeah, he went in as a pinch hitter. I'm sorry, he went in as the catcher to replace the pinch hitter, John Sherlock. And so Spots did ground out once, and he got on the fielder's choice. Then there was a double that sent him to third, and then Spots ended up being the one who scored the winning run in that game. So that's pretty interesting, right? It's pretty interesting stuff to look at. My question, though, is that when you're creating a game, is there really any need to have a specific card for this guy, right, who hit 0? What about this guy? Grover Alexander, we probably do want a card for him. But when we look around at different teams, we're going to see that there are more and more of these guys who are so marginal that, I mean, if you're making like an APBA card or whatever, like, what are you going to do and how are you going to do it? So, Grover Alexander, I understand, who was in his final year for the Phillies and who really didn't pitch well. You probably don't want to make a card or a virtual card for him. By Spies, who'd been out of the game for 4 years, like, do we really need to, he had 11 appearances, right? 19 innings of a bunch of nothing. Is there any difference between having an actual card for him and having like a generic card? Anyway, just something to think about. It's something that I thought about myself. The 1930 Philadelphia Phillies are probably not the best team to look at, but I haven't spent a lot of time really sort of playing around with this idea and looking at different things that are possible. So I don't know. Love to know what your thoughts are on this, and we'll keep it short like that. I got a meeting to get to. Talk to you later. Bye.